our paths have crossed many years ago at the Cheesecake Factory. Love what he's doing with his career through all the ups and downs. He's an inspiration to many and to myself in the hospitality business. He's currently now the VP Director of Operations at Smoke Shop Barbecue in Massachusetts. Six locations total, three in the metro area, three in the suburbs. Matt, welcome to the program. How are you doing today? It's been a while, been over a decade. Thanks for being here today.
It's my pleasure. Thanks for having me. It's
For sure.
looking forward for catching up and bring some old memories.
Yeah. Back
Right,
to life.
it's back to life.
Yeah.
Yep.
For sure. Born and raised in Brazil, right? When you hear Brazil, for me, I think of soccer, I think of mixed martial arts, UFC. But here you are, you loved basketball. How is that?
Yep.
Who was your favorite player growing up?
So I grew up in Georgian era.
Okay.
So the Bulls was dominating when I was in middle school and high school, and so that's where we were striving for. You know what I mean? We were playing. Um, and we see them play and we're like, okay, this is the moves we got to do.
Right.
And but it was soccer never back then never was never fascinated me. Like I would watch World Cup because everyone was around,
Right.
but yeah, soccer wasn't. So I had it was for me it was basketball. Then in on our school year, we had to do multiple sports, right? So
Okay.
each semester we do different. So it was always basketball, then we do volleyball and handball. We don't see a lot of those up here, but in
Right.
Brazil it's pretty good. It's like a cross of like futsal and use your hands versus your feet. So it's awesome. It's a fast pace too. So, but yeah, but basketball was that's what I wanted to be. I was like, I want to grow up and be a basketball player.
Well, that was my question. Did you ever attempt to play? How was your jumper? How was your shot?
My shots
Smooth?
are good. Yeah,
Okay.
my shots are good. I was more of a defending guy.
Okay,
Um,
defense.
yep. I was tall and slim and could run for days.
Right.
But yeah, so I was the enforcer. Um, and then you know what I mean. For a couple of years, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be able to make it. But then real life checks in, right?
Yeah.
As we'll talk about working from the
Yeah.
young age. So,
Right. For sure.
um, but yeah, but that was a good.
When was the last time you picked up a basketball and say, see what I can do?
Uh, it's it's been a while. Probably 6 years. I used to take the kids to the basketball court and we play with my boys. Um,
Right.
for the last 3 months, I've been trying to sign up for Over the Hill basketball that our community here does on Fridays at 6 in the morning. Imagine. So that's what I'm waiting for a new class, a new session to start, so we can pick up the ball again. Especially now that stuff's starting to slow down a little bit for the winter.
So Jordan was your favorite player. Um, LeBron, what do you think about LeBron? Big fan?
Nah,
Not
nah,
a
nah. Not my kind of guy. You know what I mean?
Tea.
Nah.
All right, fair enough. Growing up, you were the middle child, right? Your older brother eventually moved to America, and your younger sister stayed in Brazil. Which sibling got away with a ton of stuff, a ton of mischief? Who was the
Oh,
prankster?
definitely. Oh, my sister is so spoiled. That was like, oh,
She was the last one, right? So she got away with a lot of
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, and she's 10 years young. So we're
Right,
like, my brother and I, we're like working and getting stuff done while she's just, you know what I mean, getting
right,
out spoiled and
right.
which made sense. You know what I mean? It's the only girl. It's the youngest. But yeah, and my brother was just doing his things and being crazy, which love it.
Right.
It was awesome. So
Were your parents very strict on you, on him personally? What do you think?
my parents were strict to both of us, well, all
Yeah,
of us. You know what I mean? My
right.
my 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 father was extremely tough, but looking back today, being a father, I understand. understand what he was trying to do.
Out
Don't
of
agree
love.
the way, yeah, I don't agree the way he did it, but I understood what he was trying to do.
Yeah.
Like you said, tough love, and
Yeah.
but a great man.
How were you in Brazil growing up? Were you an extrovert, introvert? Were you fun? Were you quiet? How were you growing up back then?
It was depending, right? If I had my group, I had a very small, tight group, few kids, and we're just terrorize the city. But you know what I mean? And
In a good way.
yeah, yeah, of course. It's like by the age of 13, I mean, my mom will let us drive around, and we'll be able to at night get in the car and drive around and have fun. Of course, nothing dangerous or illegal, but being kids, right? So
Right.
uh, I used to skateboard everywhere, so I was a skateboarder. So I was
Wow.
I'll go with one of my friend in Tiago, and we'll skateboard everywhere. And we did a mini ramp in my mom's sub shop wall, and
Right.
then the first time he comes down, he breaks his arm. I'm like, oh, now I'm
Um,
stuck in here by myself. So yeah, we were always doing some. You know, we were being kids back in the '80s, early '90s, right? It's no electronics, no phones, and you're outside drinking out of the garden hose.
yeah. The good old times, man. I miss those
Yep.
days, man. Your dirt bike
Yeah.
and you're just hanging out. You come home and the sun goes down and that's it.
Well, it had to
Any injuries
be
on the skateboard? Any injuries on the skateboard, by the way, for you or no?
no. Me,
Okay.
just scratches and bruises, but I did crack my wrist playing basketball. I went to dunk and I didn't land it correctly, and up landing my arm and but
That was
that's I think that was one of the worst injuries I
int-
had, other
yeah,
than
for sure. Your parents had a restaurant back then, right? They had a food trailer, right? A trailer, a brick and mortar. Tell us a little bit about that. How it shaped you as a young kid growing up.
yeah. So my my parents um, my parents met when my father and his brother had a sub shop in the suburbs of state of São Paulo, and that's when I he met my mom, and this was they were very young on I believe it was 18, 19-year olds they were, so they were very young.
Right.
um so my father and my uncle, they had the restaurant, the sub shop, which is in a trailer, right, a food trailer, let's call. And they would my mom came around and they got together, and they the sub shop ended up being successful. And then my father kind of proposed to my mom, and I was like, hey, let's move back to Paraná, which that's where we're from. And they moved back just about 40-minute drive from where my grandparents has a farm, and that's where they've been there for about 43 years.
Wow.
Um, and they started with a small food truck right next to the city hall, and got a few years into it, they got a bigger trailer, and then probably about 10 years after that, no, about 20, about 10 years after that, they were able to buy a piece of land
Right.
towards the entrance of the city, and then they got a brick and mortar.
Yeah.
So which is being there until today, and is an institution now. Generations and generations, right? You have, I believe I was talking to her the couple weeks ago, and it's the third generation going into the sub shop because because it's been there for so long. And
Yeah.
so
That's amazing.
and fun story. My brother's coming from Brazil tonight, and they were trying. she was like, "Hey, I'm gonna send you some sandwiches. Let's see if it makes." So,
Yeah, because
hope
8 and 9 years old, you were wrapping and building sandwiches, right?
correct.
Yeah.
We grew up on, especially my brother and I. We grew up in the restaurant. So um, again, my parents, they were both trying to make it, right. The stories that my mom says that by the age of 1, I was under the cash register
Yeah.
in the bassinet, sitting there while they were working.
Right.
And I was a quiet baby, right. I wasn't fussy, so I was just stay there. um, and then when they were beginning, and they were very when they were beginning, and they needed help, my older brother would go hang out with my maternal grandparents, and I would go and stay with my paternal grandparents. So
Right.
they'll kind of split it up, especially towards the busy season, so they could focus on building their business, right?
For sure.
Um, and that continued through until we were about, by the time I was 9, my shift was working behind the counter, wrapping
Right.
sandwiches and putting the trays together. Which is, I went there about a year and a half ago, and uh, I remember they make this. Uh, she has these trays that
Uh-huh.
fits the 3 squeeze bottles, the
Right.
mayonnaise, the ketchup, and the mustard, and
Yeah.
then you build your sandwiches, and then you hook that tray into the car window.
Oh,
So
okay.
so that's because we had a big parking lot. All the cars would get parked, and then you take the order and you deliver to the car, so they'll never come out. After my mom got the brick and mortar, she was able to get a patio, and they have about 15 tables, but
Right.
it's probably a good ratio, a 50-50 ratio, where people are eating their cars and people are eating in on the
Inside.
tables, right. So
Yeah.
so I went there, and I remember having to polish those, get a Brillo pad every day, and I have to polish, make
Rubbing.
sure it's
Yeah.
shiny,
Yeah. Yeah.
because the aluminum will get dull. And she was like,
Right.
my father was like, "Gotta be shiny, gotta show that we're clean." So by the age of 9, that's my job. I was setting up. I was kind of the expo, if you would say,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
expo, and putting the plates together, and sending it away. So um, and my
And then
brother would be.
serving, right? You hated it. The pretty girls, except for the pretty girls, right?
Well, yeah, I got, like, by the time I got to like 12, 13, and we were having problems finding servers, and my mom was like, "All right, you're gonna have to go work out there." I was like, "All right." So I was
Yeah.
like, I started working, and it wasn't me. I didn't want to talk to people. I just wanna work on my counter,
Right.
and get the orders done. But then, you go into you had to go into the cars and take the orders. You go in there, and it's like cars loaded with girls. And I was like, "Hey, this is not so bad." But then the next car, it's an old guy, grumpy. I was like, "Oh, I don't know about that."
Morale just
Um,
goes down. He's like,
yeah, it was up and down, but it was fun. It was a great experience, and I think that's where I started learning about hospitality.
for
It's
sure.
taking care of not just the car with the nice girls, but with the man that was kind of upset that his order's taking so long, and trying to
Right.
figure that out. And when you're 12, 13 years old, it's like, look, dude, we're working hard. It's going to be a little bit longer. And it's
For
something
sure.
that my mom still fights with it today. Is the wait time to get stuff done. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because the space is so small, and the volume is so high, you can only produce so much. I'm
You
like,
can only do so much. Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. So I was like, we bouncing ideas. It's like, okay, you gotta maybe do cold sandwiches for who's extremely hungry, right? You do like Italian, do something like that. So, but it is it's on a rush hour. You're waiting for an hour and a half for a sandwich.
Wow.
Yeah,
Unbelievable.
yeah. But it everything's made from scratch. And like scratch
Right.
meaning you're cooking everything from scratch, like cheesecake, right? We were
Right.
cooking
Exactly.
the
Nothing is
burgers.
microwave. Nothing is microwaved.
No, yes, exactly. And
Right.
and then we're I was helping her look at some different ideas. Maybe some warm trays like Dunkin' has that they keep the food warm. Maybe they can just stay ahead with the burgers. But it's I think what she got it's good. It's going. And she she's on her 60s and she's running by herself and is
Right.
successful. I was like, just put the
Yeah.
kids to put your staff to work and you be present there. But
That's it.
um
Yeah.
yeah, and
But
then
she's hands-on, right? When you own something, like, you know how it is, you, like, don't wanna let it go, you gotta be there every day, no matter what age or tired or sick, you wanna be hands-on because it's your baby, right?
yeah, and she's a trooper because it's like the other day the guy that works in the flat top called out and she was
Right.
like she jumped on and she was like she started making sandwiches because no it's the same it's the same here, right? Each one has each person has its
Different
its
stations.
stations, and you have a guy prepping, you got a guy pressing the sandwiches, and you got a guy making the sandwiches. So one guy calls out, they you really need that person.
For sure. Your mom and dad, very strict growing up, but their work ethic, right? You saw that from a young age. Did you pattern yourself after them? Like, that's who I'm gonna be, like, growing up, I'll be like them, working hard, grinding every single day?
I I never thought of that. I left Brazil because I wanted to get away from food and kind of. I was supposed to come here for a year. I
Right.
wanted to come here, and
It never happens, right? You come for a year, you ended up staying a lifetime. Never
I
happens.
I can't. Yeah, I want to come here for a year just to make some money, buy me myself a car, and kind of figure
Yeah.
out what I wanted to do with life.
Right.
But um, but yeah, they were we we had to do our own prep, right? I'm not a big fan of mayonnaise. I'm not a big
Right.
fan of ketchup. Not a big fan of mustard
Yeah.
because I saw my father make mayonnaise every
From
day
yeah.
from scratch, and I was like,
Yeah.
but I like I'll eat aioli with no problem. I'm like, yeah, which is it's just I don't know, it's just ridiculous. But
Right.
like a Dijon mustard, I love a Dijon mustard, a whole grain mustard. But it's just those three items.
Yeah.
My father would make mayonnaise every day, and my mom still makes mayonnaise today, and it's like because it's one of those signature items. Might not be something important, but
Right.
everyone goes there because they're like, hey, this makes difference.
Right.
So, but from the young age, we were like, my brother would help make the hamburgers. So it's like it's not just ground beef.
Okay.
It has is a seasoned hamburger
Okay. Very nice. Very nice.
and it gets pressed. So my brother will help my father press the burger. My mom, the three of them will work on the hamburgers because it was a process back then. Uh, we used to make each ball, press it. Uh, now she has a machine that she will have to feed it and just. But one person can do it. Before back then it was three. When we were growing up, it was three of them doing. So
Wow.
while they were doing that, I was cutting cold cuts, ham and cheese, and
And
bacon
she's
was my job. So
right.
we're not just working at the sub shop; we were also prepping. Um, so if you look at it, that's what was our chores.
Yeah.
That's what we had to do. So
At a young
so I
age.
think that's yeah, and I think that's where the that comes from.
Work ethic
From
and everything
start from
from
yeah.
scratch. Yeah. That young. And that stuff just goes with you forever. Like those things like that you remember to this day and it just sticks with you. Those things once they're, when you're young, you pick up little things like that, it just carries with you forever. It really does.
Yeah, yeah. Back then, you're not happy. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I want to go out hang out with my friends. You know what I mean? I want
Exactly.
to go play basketball. I want to whatever.
Right.
But you're like, at the end of the day, it's like you guys got to do it because this is how we gonna
Make a living.
survive.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, um, so back then we're not thrill about it, but we understand now. It's like makes sense.
Sure. Shifting things off topic here. Talk to me about the favelas, right? 70,000 people live there. What kind of a place is it? Is it bad or is it good? Have you ever been there? What part of Brazil and Rio is that located at?
So I never been to one.
Okay.
I come from the middle, like almost middle of the country, where where it's there that doesn't exist, right? Um, the favelas are like São Paulo and Rio have those, and unfortunately, there was a very big um, resurrection, right, with the police that happened last night or the last couple of
I
days. A
saw
lot
that.
of people
Yeah.
die,
64
but
people. Yeah.
so it is dangerous for outsiders. I have
Okay.
watched documentaries. I'm not the person to talk about it because I don't know much about it, but the documentaries I heard that I've watched and I try to learn a little bit is it's very safe for the community that's there, but
Okay.
for the outsiders, it's not, right? They, you know, what I mean, they're not going to steal from the community. They're going to steal from the people from the outside the community to bring into the community. So they kind of take care of each other into
Right.
those areas.
Right.
Um, and then when I went back to Brazil, I went back to Brazil after 21 years not being in Brazil, and I
Wow.
flew into São Paulo, and I got there in towards the daylight, so I was able to see the entire skyline, and I flew by the favelas, which was was impressive how big it is.
Massive.
You know, massive.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I'm seeing from a plane, you don't see the details, you just see the size of it.
Right.
But it was pretty pretty big, and um, it was kind of it was amazing to see it
Kind of
how it
surreal,
is.
right? You see it on TV versus see
Yes,
it in real life. It's like night and day,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
correct. It's very different.
What do you remember most about Brazil? What do you miss most about it? Leaving and then after 21 years going back, or lots of change, right?
A lot of change, and not a lot of change. So
Okay.
coming from my small town, I when I got there, I was like, "Am I gonna know where am I going?" And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden, you're like, "Okay, I know where it is." They changed the pattern of the streets, but at least I'm like, "Yeah, I know where I am." Okay,
Okay.
so but I mean, think old. There are some old stuff that's still there but there are a lot of new stuff, and I was excuse me, I was impressive of how it was because
Absolutely.
you only hear the bad stuff.
Right. Yeah.
You
It's
only
always
hear
the
the
best.
bad stuff.
Yeah, it's always the
Exactly,
best. Yeah.
always the bad stuff. And when I got there, it wasn't that, and I was like, well, wow, this is not what I remember. I remember leaving there and being so not being so bad, but I remember that's all we talk about it, right? Always the violence, always the politician, always the poverty. But then getting there, you're like, oh, it's different.
Yeah.
It's not all bad. You know what I mean? And just if you look at the same here, right? It's not all bad.
It's not all bad. Yeah.
But yeah, the people. You know what I mean? It's different. You walk in there and you feel at home. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why. It's just like maybe because that's the language you grew up with, and I live more in the States than I lived in Brazil. I was there for 17. I've been in the States for 26. So, um,
Yeah.
but it felt different, and it was very nostalgic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Seeing like cousins and uncles, cousins that I even never met because they were either just born or when I left.
Yeah.
But it was insane. It was crazy.
There's that old saying goes, right? There's no place like home, right? No matter how
Yeah,
bad or what
yeah,
the
yeah,
case
yeah.
may be, there you're like, oh, no place like home. I'm back.
Yeah, yeah. When
Amazing, man.
when when I left, my mom was doing she was building her home that she has today. So when I left, she was she moved into the house the week after. So I I was never in the house. I only saw like getting ready. So going
Right.
back and going back, I was like, oh, this was gonna be our room. This is gonna be our sister room. So it was like everything's still the same. I was like, oh, was great
Fit
to
right
see
back
that.
like you
Yeah,
never left. Yeah,
yeah.
amazing. Moving to America, right? Better future is going to be only be for a year. The opportunity at age 17. How difficult was it for you coming here? Didn't speak any English. What was your first word you remember speaking in English?
F you probably. You know what I mean? Because it was like you learn that stuff so quick, right? But like, hi, how are you? You get all those, but
Yeah,
then
all the good stuff,
because
right? We don't want the good
F
stuff.
fu, it's fork in Portuguese.
Oh,
So you're
okay.
like you start making when you start first start learning, you start making like, okay, what does this sound like? So
Right.
so you kind of like
Cut and
trying to
paste and
memorize,
try
yeah,
to
trying to memorize,
right.
um yeah, it was like I said earlier, I was coming here for a year only because I had to go back. When you're 18 in Brazil, you have to enlist in the army.
Okay.
So my goal is to come in for a year, uh, make some money, get some life experience, learn a better English, and go back and figure out what I want to do and get
Yeah.
my car and figure out what I want to do. But then I arrived here February uh 28, 29. It was the end of the February and I landed at Logan Airport and was snow everywhere.
First time you ever see snow. First time.
First time I ever seen snow, and I have Brazilian winter clothes. So I'm like, I look at it, I go outside, and as soon as I inhale that very cold air, I'm like, my lungs are burning. I'm like, whoa, what is this?
Right.
And I think I just fell in love, and I was like,
Yeah.
and this was I remember that experience all the time,
Yeah.
and I think that's couldn't be. I don't think that's the reason why I stayed, but that's one of the things that kind of made me. I love winter. You know what I mean. Again, I'm from Brazil, supposed to love summer. No, I
Love
love
some weather. Yeah.
I,
Like
I love winter. So
right.
that was one of the things. And again, 17, no parents here by myself. I was like loving the free life.
Yeah, the environment. You ever say like, why am I here? I want to go back to Brazil. I miss home mentality. Never cross your mind?
It does. At the beginning, it does a lot.
Yeah.
Like I was telling my mom, I was like, it's like the first 3 months you're fine, you're enjoying life, and it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
then kind of like, what's going on?
Reality
Six
sets in.
months, then 6 months in, you're like, eh. So that was for me, right? And then 1 year anniversary was kind of a little tough, and then the second year was tough, and after that, I was like, uh,
You
I
were
was
fine.
just living. Yeah, I was living the moment, so
Yeah.
I wasn't too concerned.
Before CCF doing housekeeping, right? Talk about cleaning Harvard University. What was that like at the time?
It's yeah.
Three
So
months in America, no English, 8 months later, a busser. I mean, it's crazy, right? But all this to make ends meet, right?
yeah. We we came. So I came in when I was 17. I was living with my brother, my uncle, and my aunt, and into a studio. A studio? No, it was one bedroom apartment in the basement. So
Wow.
we were there for 6 months. I started taking ECNL classes in downtown Boston. So again, never had experience with public transportation, none of that. So now I'm figuring out another language, taking trains, buses into Boston area. I was like, this
That's a whole new
surreal,
world. Yeah, it's a
whole new
whole new
world. Yep.
world. Yeah, like how do I even navigate this thing? How do I teach? Yeah,
And don't forget, back then there was no cell phone to translate
right,
your. It's nothing. It's you
right,
walking. I used to have a pocket dictionary that would translate English to Portuguese. Oh, well, we'll have the translations, right? English and
right.
Portuguese. And I had to walk around with the pocket dictionary looking at for instructions and trying to figure that out. So so for the first 6 months we were doing that, and then my brother and I moved into apartment, which we were renting a room. So him and I was splitting, sharing a bedroom into this apartment, where the other guy had another roommate. So it was a 2 bedroom apartment, and that's where I got to start working with in a restaurant.
Right,
But between my first 6 months is I was lucky to have some family members here,
right.
my
To help you
brother,
along.
my uncle, my aunt, and my uncle and my aunt was here. My uncle was here for a couple of years prior, so he knew a lot of people, and then that's where I'll go to help. And like, so I came in February, right? So in May, the schools cleans the universities clean out, and they need a lot of people to help clean. And they're like, hey, they need people clean here. So for a week, I was cleaning the dorms at Harvard University, and
Yeah,
that's one of the ways that they were able to get furniture for moving to our one to our
one
bedroom,
bedroom.
right?
Yeah,
So we're able to find mattress and beds and nightstands and wardrobes. So we're able to get from those places because they're throwing it out to be able to, because what you come here, you only come with your
your suit.
luggage. Just
That's it. Your luggage. Yeah.
that's it. That's all
You
you
don't come
come
with
in.
anything
So
else. Yeah.
yeah. So for the first 6 months, that's what I was doing. I was cleaning houses, helping cleaning houses here and there, whatever I could get it. At least enough to to buy me food, because
Yeah.
luckily I didn't luckily I didn't have to pay for rent because my uncle and my brother was helping me with that.
Right. For sure. Then your brother, who also worked at the Cheesecake Factory, was like, "Hey, they need a dishwasher. Where can dish? Opening on Fry. Why not try it?" The chaos. You love chaos. It was thrilling
Uh,
to you, right?
I think that's what was it. So starting so with after my brother and I we moved to a different town, right? We're with my uncle. We're living in East Boston. We moved to Winthrop. My brother's like, you have to go to school. So he signed me up for. Uh, he went with me to the high school, Winthrop High, and that's where we um, we signed up for me to start doing ninth grade. So by
Okay.
this time, I was holed up 2 years in Brazil, so I was 2 years behind.
Okay.
Then the day I went to high school, that's the day I saw Bianca for the first time.
Wow.
So,
Crazy.
yeah. So then we signed up for school. A week later, I started school, and then I was working at an Italian restaurant in town in Winthrop. I was a dishwasher, small restaurant, never busy. So I start working, trying to learn to do different stuff. Eventually,
Right.
I kind of slow time. I started helping in making pizzas, lighting up the oven, silly stuff, right? And then my English started getting a little bit better. They put me in the counter. I'm like, now I'm back in the counter. I mean,
Right.
selling slice of pizzas for the kids that are going to high school with me.
Yeah.
And then then they opened a second location, and I became a busboy.
Wow.
Like 6 months in, the place was really not doing well. And then my brother was a cook at this place, and he then eventually got a job with Cheesecake.
Right.
Then he started working as a pizza cook at Cheesecake. Then the restaurant started to fail, and we were not making money. Now it's just me and my brother, right? We have to, hey,
Right.
how are we gonna pay the bill? How are we gonna pay rent? How are we gonna
Things start
pay? How are we gonna eat? So he's like, hey, they're looking for a dishwasher Cheesecake. Come take a look. So I went there. I applied for the job, and actually, who hired me was Jay Henson. Jay,
Jay
yeah,
Henson back
was
then. Wow.
so it was Jay. Then I was supposed to come back a week later to start. When I went back, Jay and Tom Schmidt had made the transition. So Tom was the EKM. So
Right.
then I started Dish.
Right.
So I was going to school in the morning, working Dish at night,
Yeah.
and I don't know, I was there for, I can't remember, for a couple of days, or I know there wasn't a lot of time spending Dish. I
Right.
remember just being soaked from head to toe,
Oh man.
and
Not
yeah,
easy
and I'm
position, man. Yeah.
no, and I was like, the Cambridge Side Galleria Dish is like, it's the dish machine, the three
Right.
base sink, and the ice machine all in one cramped
Oh
space.
man.
So it was
Jeez.
it's just a chaotic.
Terrible spot to put
Um,
an ice machine. Man.
they didn't have enough spaces. The place is so tiny.
Tiny. Yeah.
Uh, so um, so then a position came for Fry, and I'm like,
Right.
I, I'll do it.
Yeah.
So I started working, start working Fry within few days of being employed there, and
Yeah.
uh, it was different. It was a high paced. It was uh, back. This is 2000. So there is. Uh, so that's there's no cheesecake factories all around like it is now. So it was
Yeah.
just the Galleria. It was Galleria and Chesterton Hill.
Yeah.
So it was so busy, and I started working as a fry cook, and used
Right.
to have this guy Oscar. We'll go back and forth between plating and frying. So
Right.
one day he'll fry, one day I'll fry. So we'll go back and forth, and we try to see who could bury each other. And that's how we made the night.
Oh,
I was
it's
like, okay,
competitive. Yeah. Yeah.
let me see if I can bury this guy today, and then
Yeah.
he'll try to do the same, man. And
Right.
we're just go at it. And so after a couple months in Fry, I was like, oh, this is boring.
Yeah. You just
Then we got into flat top.
right.
Then now you cross train two stations and working. And we were, again, same thing. Oscar makes it there. We're trying to bury each other.
Yeah.
Then I was between those two locations there for a while, and then and a fun story is that we used to make onion strings, right? Do you guys still make onion strings?
Yeah, we do. We do the small for the barbecue ranch chicken salad. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's it. You don't have the appetizer.
No, not appetizer anymore. Those big
So
rings. Yeah.
we used to have the appetizer, which is the same onion strings as now,
Right.
but it
Right.
was, if I think it was 12 ounces of
It
onions.
was huge. It was this big, stacked up on the plate.
No,
Yeah.
no, no, it was before this. This was, you got the onion strings now, and you had to make
Right.
a pile probably this
That
long.
high.
It was 12 ounces of either 6 or 12 ounces of onion strings. And
Right.
this thing will get flour everywhere. The moment we wash our hands,
Yeah.
like the sink will get clogged. Like we used to throw so much flour down the drain that the plumbers had to come in every week to snake the drain at Fry Station, because we're going
Yeah.
through, like,
Yeah.
on Saturday night, we're
Yeah.
like, the line used to be flooded because it's so much flour. But
Yeah.
um then I started working. Then flat top got boring, and I was like,
Right.
hey, let me. Then they
Try
need a
saute.
saute cook. They
Yeah.
need a saute cook, and I was there working saute. Um, and then eventually saute got boring, and then I went to work the grill. And the grill is a different beast because I have never done something like
Right.
that. Fry, flat,
Right.
saute. Once you get the hang of it, you can figure it out very quick.
Right.
The grill, the charbro wasn't easy, and
Different.
luckily there was this old Haitian guy there,
He
and he
molded
was,
you, right? Molded you. He took you under his wing,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah, he was calm, and we were getting, it's like steaks and burgers and stuff everywhere and
I'm
teriyaki
like two
chicken.
pages deep, right? 2 pages deep, at least.
Oh, this is not pages. Back then it's all tickets. You have like
Oh man,
you,
yeah,
you have a whole row of tickets, and
yeah,
you can't pay on the printer. And you're like, he was like, dude, relax. Let's work on the first five. Let's work the next four. And he taught me temperatures. He taught me how to use the hand to get your proper temperatures. And like 2 months in, I was like, thermometer, what? I don't need that anymore. And but that was and he and but Cambridge is you only had one entrance to the kitchen, and
okay,
everybody had to go through the
yeah,
grill because that was the
yeah,
first stage. So every time you're doing something, someone's walking by. I was like,
yeah.
oh
You
my
have to
god,
stop, wait, stop, wait, stop, wait. Oh, that's
yep.
annoying.
It was like you
Yeah,
can get anything done in here. He's
yeah,
like, just
yeah, yeah.
relax, just relax. And we used to have this guy that was he would come in and he would just walk. He used to work salad on the other side of the line. He
Right.
walked the entire line just rubbing at everybody. And I was just like, oh, excuse me. And just, oh, it was a mess. Oh. So,
Man,
um, and like within 6 months, after I learned all that, I was like, okay, what's next? Right.
did you ever try pasta? You ever did pasta station or no? You never worked pasta station.
Pasta, I did a little bit of pasta. That was my
Okay,
weakest station. I
but you were
did
like,
I did pizza, I did salad, but pasta
right,
was like the
yeah,
pasta is always solid.
right,
So I did very little. And then by the time I got to broil, I was I was burned out because I'm working nights. I'm not getting home until like 1 o'clock. I'm catching the last train every night. So I gotta get
right,
two trains and a bus to get home and go to high school.
yeah.
So, but this time I'm showing up to school at 9 o'clock. I'm sleeping through half of the classes,
Tired, yeah, yeah, yeah.
tired, and then so I'm like, I told my brother, I was like, look, this is not working. I'm gonna drop out. Then I applied to go to an opening. I'm like, if I'm not gonna go to school, I gotta do something more. So I applied to go to do the opening. So went to I apply and they're like, yeah, you need to be a designated trainer, a DT, for at least 6 months. So
Right.
okay, no problem. I'm like, how do I become a trainer? I think by then had just become a trainer. I was like, okay, no problem. Then a week later, somebody called out from the opening, had an emergency, and I had to. They're like, hey, you still up for it? I was like, yeah, I got
Yeah.
nothing else to do. I just quit school.
Right.
I got to figure it out. So I went to do my first opening in Schaumburg, Illinois. Um, had no clue what I was getting myself into. Nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, "Hey, you're working in this little, you know what I mean, this small cheesecake factory in the middle
Right.
of nowhere. You know, it was a free for all, not free for all, but it was like it was a little laid back. It wasn't strict as it is today, or it is, should
Yeah.
be.
Right.
So it was, you know what I mean. We had 24 locations, so it
Wow.
wasn't as um, so it was like I remember one of the KMs came to me. It's like they're gonna send you back on the first week. I'm like,
Those onion
why?
strings.
I was like, why? I was like,
Yeah.
why? And he was like, you'll see. So I got there, set up the station, started doing the training stuff, and then the first day we start training, everything is going good until I make the onion strings. And this
Yeah.
thing is just a glob of grease and flour on a plate. And they're like, what the heck is this? I was like, this is how we do it when it's busy, I guess. And they're like, they put me aside and they're like, no, you got to figure it out. So uh, there's this guy, I can't remember his name, but he went by Cowboy. And
Okay.
he put
Yep.
me aside and he took me under his wing. And he's like, all right, he was the kind of guy in the morning that did validate the prep, the kitchen manager validate the prep, and
Right.
he was one of the trainers, and he was like, okay, we're gonna figure this out together. And
Right.
I went back home. I went back to the hotel and I started studying. And within a couple of days, I switched, changed it completely around. Donna Longo also helped me a lot. And then after that was great. I was like, all right, now I know what I'm doing. And then,
Get the recipes down packed, and everything is like flowing now.
yep, had
Yeah.
it done, finished the opening, successful. Went back to Cambridge and sat down with the KM. I was like, look, we're doing a lot of shit wrong here. This is what we got to do. I was like, I want to take
Because when you
Fry.
go to a different place, you see your eyes open up. You see different things. You're like, I could take that back and
Yeah,
implement that in the store, right? Yeah.
yeah, and that was the idea. I was like, look, we're doing all this. I'd like to take Fry and make the change.
Right.
So I started working on that, and for a couple of weeks I worked on Fry, and we got the quality back. And some of the stuff that I was seeing, I was like, hey, this is how we should do it. And then they're like, hey, we need a supervisor a couple of days a week. Do you want to do it? I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Again, I got nothing to do. All right, I'm not
Right.
going to
Right.
school. I'm just working.
Right.
So I would work. I usually work brunch, so we'll work Saturday night and come back for brunch.
A quick turnaround. Yeah. Yeah. Close open.
So yep. So and then every Sunday night we had a call up, and they're like,
Wow.
"Hey, can you stay?" It's like, "Sure."
Yeah.
And then payroll week comes. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Hey, you did 30 hours overtime." I'm like, "You asked me to
Yeah.
stay. Why not?" Um, and then I continued to be supervisor. I started getting better at it. Then they needed a trainer for Fry for King of Prussia.
King of Prussia. Right.
So I went to King of Prussia, did the opening there.
Right.
Um, that was a very crazy opening that happened on 9/11 month.
Right.
So, uh, but I also learned a lot there. The community, right? A lot of Muslims on there,
Right.
and it was a very and with the state of that the country was back then, it was. And I was 18 years old. I didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I learned a lot. I was like, hey, let's because of Donna and some of the other leaders. I was like, hey guys, we got to respect them. It's not they're not at fault here,
Yeah.
and got me to understand and a little bit more. I was, you know, what I mean, I didn't understand none of that back then,
Right.
and so we were able to work it out and that being a very very successful opening.
Yeah.
And when I remember sitting in the office in King of Prussia calling my mom in Brazil, I was like, I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
We didn't have internet wasn't that great, right? Smartphones was just start working, so
Right.
we didn't have all the information. So I called my mom from the landline at Cheesecake. I was like, hey, listen, everything's okay. Don't worry about it because the planes came out of Boston.
Yeah.
So we're
Yeah.
we're okay, we're fine. And then everything, and then I called my brother, uh, and that was it. That was the only people I had to report to
Wow.
because, um, and then we finished King of Prussia. I came back to Boston, and then they're like, "Hey, you wanna?" I was like, "Look, the King of Prussia was amazing, and I killed it." I'm like, "This is my second opening on Fry. I didn't. Nobody talked to me about onion strings. I was
Yeah.
like, done." Uh,
Yeah.
they're like, "Hey," then they're gonna open they were gonna open the Prudential, and they're like, "Hey, you wanna be a kitchen manager?" I was like, "Fuck yeah!" Excuse my language. I was like, yeah, yes, I want. And
Yeah.
so I don't know if I still is, but I was the youngest intern promoted to kitchen manager.
Wow.
So I was 18 going to 19.
It's always the
And
people you meet in life too, right? The cowboy and then the old Haitian guy. It's like
yep.
people you cross in life, right? Like it's just learning lessons that you can learn from them, they learn from you, and it's like crazy how that all this all works. And you look
And
back, man,
yeah, and it's something that I take it into today. It's
yeah,
someone's trying to explain something, I listen to it. If I agree or
yeah,
not, and I see if it makes sense or not.
right,
So sometimes I'm in a restaurant and I write recipes, right? I develop recipes. I write recipes and I send it out. And sometimes I, 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 guys come back, it's like, hey, I think if we do this way, it will be better.
Right.
I mean, and then I'm open to that because they are the ones doing it every day. They might be away.
Right.
But not just with recipes, but also in life, right? You're looking at, not sure what cheesecake does now, but back then when we opened White Plains, there was a lot of old gentlemen working in the dish room, and same thing now. We have a lot of old uh, staff members that work in our dish room or in our prep room,
Yeah.
and I stop and listen to them what they're saying, even if I don't like. They have experience in life that we don't have, that I don't have,
Right.
and I think that's what made the difference for me. It's being able to listen and capture what could work for me.
For sure.
And I had great mentors. I mean, even I had some very awful mentors that
Yeah.
I learned what not to do, and it's
Right.
why, like, all right, you can. It's not working, so let's switch,
Yeah.
right?
Switch
But
it up.
I think that's the part that we all need to learn.
For sure. Let's take it back real quick in high school, meeting your love of your life, Bianca. I mean, how
Yes,
was that? Did you know right away she was the one?
yes,
Wow.
she did
Okay.
it. She did it.
She didn't, but you did.
Yes, I didn't know. I walk into the office to sign up, and I see
Right.
that beautiful lady, and I'm like,
Yeah.
girl back then, right, or
Yeah.
teenager, and
Yeah.
look at it. She has very short hair, and she had like almost like a skater outfit, and I look at it, and I was like, wow, she's
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out how to communicate. I didn't know she was Brazilian back then, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then I went my way. I was like, well, we're in the same school. We'll cross paths sometime.
Yeah.
And went back to the apartment, and then a few days later, I find her on the stairway. So she lived on. I was on the third floor. She was on the second floor.
Wow. Imagine
And
that.
yeah, yeah. Then just exchange name, introductions, but then back then she came in just for same situation. She would come in for a year just to do to go to high school and try to graduate high school here, and she had a serious boyfriend back home, so she
Mm.
didn't want nothing to do with me.
Yeah. She's like, who is this guy?
Um,
Me? I don't have
yeah,
somebody back home. This guy. Yeah.
exactly.
And
So
now you get been married, what, 21 years, two great kids, right? Luca, Lorenzo. You made the first move. What was your love language? Would you say anything specific you said to her, like caught her attention?
no, I was very unromantic. I was I was yeah. I never seen that. I never seen that at home. So, uh, but it was. She doesn't say. She doesn't. The way I went about it, she's not very happy about it. But I'm very very grateful the way it ended up. Right. Like
Yeah,
you
for
said,
sure.
two two amazing kids,
Yeah,
amazing wife,
right.
and you want to add your comfort?
We're
Bianca
live,
just
man.
came up.
Hey. Oh, Bianca just came up. Speaking of
Yeah,
which,
Bianca just came up.
nice, nice.
She's on
Um,
her lunch break.
it's
Here's
it's
here's
crazy, right?
here's my better half.
Hey, oh my God. I haven't seen you in so long. We're live on TV. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. How are you, my dear? It's been a long, long time. How are you?
I know. I'm doing really great. It's so nice to see you. I just
You
got a
as
break
well.
from work. Yeah, I'm
Nice.
dressed for Halloween today because I'm in
What's
class
the
in the
costume?
department. It's a dinosaur. It looks like a female
Oh,
with a crocodile, but it's a dinosaur. It's so
amazing.
nice to see you. It's so nice to see you,
You
as
as
always.
well.
I
I'm
follow
representing
you,
today. I'm wearing your favorite player,
Yeah,
Neymar. I'm representing today.
well, he's not my
Yeah,
favorite player.
yeah.
but it's okay. I love that you're representing Brazil. I love it. You know, I follow you. I listen to the lives. I watch it. I keep
Thank you.
following your podcast and everything. So I'm so
Thank you,
happy to
B.
see
Thank
it.
you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. I gotta go back to work. I'm in class
Yeah.
right now. I'm a trainer for a healthcare company, so I'm
Okay.
training new hires right now. So we're in class.
Okay.
I have a quick break, so I gotta go back on camera now.
All right.
Uh-huh.
That's, ladies and gentlemen, Bianca there. By the way, Bianca,
Thank
do some
you.
cheers right there. Yeah.
There we go. We were just talking about her.
It's like she's gonna live a
Yeah,
long time.
so-
I'm talking about her, right? Yeah. Amazing.
Yeah, so it's for the first year we kind of had a couple dates, but never worked out. And then
Yeah.
I went away.
Right.
I went away for with the openings and getting very involved with cheesecake, and I kind of disappeared. We never got in touch again, and then out of nowhere we crossed paths, and
And
things
here we are.
things rekindle, and we've been together ever since. So 21 years married, 23 years together. 20
Amazing.
so it's she's my better half. She made me a lot better. She's for the longest time she was behind me with my career, and always supporting. And she's she helps set our foundation for the great family we have. So
Sure. I was going to ask you that too. You guys broke up, got back together. Thank God you did. Look at it now. What's been the key to having a successful marriage? Because marriages these days is kind of like, 3-4 months, a year, done. It's over. It's crazy now. What's the key you think for a successful marriage?
so everyone talk about it that everyone has to give her 100%, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's the part that's wrong, is because you cannot give you 100% every day. But it is the days that I'm not 100%, she completes me, and the days that she's not, I'll complete her. So we're kind of helping each other out, and communicating. It's we went through a lot of rough patches with we'll get into a little bit later with with work and but the both of us, we were always together, and we're like, okay, we're gonna get through it. Let's figure out how to. And it's that communication. It's understanding each other, right? Understanding when to give each other space.
Yeah.
Understand when to hold each other. So I think that's the key.
That's the key. You talk about school and college. Any regrets not finishing high school, or it was just not meant to be? I mean, it's not for everybody, right? School is not for
No,
everybody. School is just a thing. It's okay.
into my late 20s, I regretted not finishing high school, because it got to a point you get burned out at cheesecake, and I was
Yeah.
burned out at cheesecake, and I wanted to do something else. And I was
Right.
like, oh, maybe I'm gonna go into the auto industry.
Right.
And then I had to finish GEG. I had to do my GEG, and I was like, I don't have the energy. I mean,
Right.
so, but today I do not regret. I want my kids to finish high school, get their diplomas, and hopefully they will go into college if they want to.
Right.
But all depends what profession they want to do.
Right.
Right. Cheesecake was my high school. I mean, Cheesecake was my college. Right.
Yeah.
Instead of going to Johnson Wales, I went to Cheesecake University. That's where I learned to follow recipes. That's how I learned to cook. That's where I learned to read a P&L. That's how I learned to make money.
Yeah.
So
you're the youngest KM, right? It's amazing how that came about. You asked to go to Hawaii. Everybody wanted to be in Hawaii, and that didn't happen.
Yeah.
So like White Plains, hey, you're gonna go to White Plains. There's Stefan, there's Maribel, Dan Fury, there's Keith, there's Jimmy Z. The rest is history. What a power team back then. 2-hour wait, more chaos.
That was insane. It was we'd never worked together. None of those individuals, right? Everybody was new to each other.
Yeah.
And we start hiring, and from the hiring to the opening, it was just a great powerhouse. I believe, you know, I mean, Stefano,
Yeah.
uh, Cynthia, we just had so much talent in that opening,
Right.
and um, and the hourly staff. It was, you know what I mean. Some of those staff is still working there,
To this
and
day.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. Yep, to
Yeah.
this day, and we yeah, it was insane. Um, and that's where like Stefan used to make fun of me all the time because I was in charge of dish and dish. Yeah, I was in charge of dish,
You make the
and
disc schedule, right? Yeah. Yeah.
I hired probably I hired was half of my crew was old gentlemen.
Yeah.
Within the first week, all the young kids were all gone, and all the old gentlemen stayed. And until that time, Stefan used to make fun of me again. Oh, you're gonna need canes in that dish room, and whatever. But they work so hard, they make it happen, and it was a great opening. And Stefan was a great mentor, uh, not just um, as a manager, but also as a friend.
As a
Um,
friend. Yeah. Yeah.
as a friend, you know what I mean?
It's
He,
hard to make
him,
friends
and
in this business too. Very hard to make friends, real friends in this business.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, everyone that worked at Cheesecake. It was amazing, right? I learned from every one of them. Um, I still, Stefan and Maribel. Eva's my goddaughter. I mean, that's uh,
Amazing. You told me
they're
that first year in college. I was like amazed by that story when you told me that last week when we spoke.
yeah,
Amazing. Amazing.
yeah. And Maribel just came up this weekend. We were hanging out with Danny
Nice.
Fiore.
Fury. Wow.
He had a block party, so we're hanging out together. So it was awesome, but it was nothing but a great experience with that opening, right? And so I started as the KM there. Um, they wanted me to come down for 6 months, and then they would transfer me to Hawaii, and then 6 years later, I was still in New York, between Cheesecake, White Plains, and
That's
Nyack.
Nyack. And Nyack, yeah.
Yeah.
Talk about that deal together, right? You and Bianca worked. You guys are married. Despite company
So
policy, you guys had a deal, right? I mean, she was a baker, you were the KM. Anybody know that deal? You guys made it work, right? Be professional at work. You guys made it work. Anybody else knew?
yeah, I think Jim and Stefan knew
Okay.
they were made aware of it because when they asked me to go to White Plains, I was like, all right, I'm going to White Plains. And then I went to Bianca. Now we're going out, and I was like, hey, look, I'm getting transferred to White Plains. She was working at a Prudential. I was like, I'd like for you to come with me.
Right.
And then she's like, yeah, we'll do it. And then when I was talking to Mike Moore, I was like, look, we want to go, but the only way we'll do it if Bianca will work in the same location. She doesn't
Yeah.
drive, and I'm not gonna go into a new opening living across the river and
Right.
having to do that crazy commute, right, from Nyack to White Plains. And
Right.
they're like, yeah, we can't. So I'm like, all right, so I guess I cannot go then. And then he was like, no, we'll make an exception.
Make it. Yeah.
And then we make it work, right?
Yeah.
We're professional, and she worked, and it was completely different work
Back.
groups too, right? So, so she'll work the front. She started as started Cheesecake as host, and then when she came down, she started working at the bakery. Then she went to the cashier. Eventually become a server and a bartender. Where
Wow.
when she finished her career with Cheesecake.
Yeah.
But that was, back then it was only a select amount of people who would deal that what was going on. Even, I mean, I think after a couple of years working together, people started realizing,
Right.
but it took a while. So.
Yeah. Transferring to Nike is EKM, Mike Milford, yourself, Isaac, Jamal. They cared. They worked hard. You, Andy, swap positions, and Jim Hartner, good friend of mine, good friend of yours.
Yeah.
What do you remember most about Nyack? That experience coming from White Plains, busy location, to West Nyack.
it was a little curveball, right? Because you're coming from a very busy location. You have 20, I think it was 20 cooks on a Saturday night at White Plains,
Right. Yeah.
to have 9 at Nyack. We were like, oh, whoa, right? But Jim was the GM, so he kind of support me. He support me a lot and gave me a lot of guidance.
Good dude. Great guy.
Yeah, awesome guy. So
Yeah.
he kind of helped me guide through those. And then the KMs, they were just like understanding and supporting, right? When we had to jump in, when we had to do it, and it was good for both, because I'm coming from what White Plains was into Nyack that wasn't so busy. I was like, okay, how can we build it, right? And that was going back to monthly food shops, right? You guys still do that every month? You guys do a food shop?
Yeah, little food shop there. Yeah. Yeah.
So we start doing those and get the guys involved, right? Taking pictures, giving to the staff, making it exciting so they would care about the dishes and understand a
Right.
little bit more.
Call it rafting back
And
then, right? Rafting, but one on one. Yeah, side by
yep,
sides. They call it now side by sides now. Yeah.
yeah. So that was experience. And one of the things that I remember all the time is
Yeah.
the day that every cook, every Spanish person walk out of the building on a Saturday due to some immigration stuff, a protest that was happening. And I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
And it was a very hard shift. All the KMs and managers working the stations, but that kind of showed the power that they have, right? How their workforce is important. So that was a surreal moment. I was like, wow, this is hard.
Yeah.
This is hard.
Not easy.
But no, but we made it through it. You know what I mean? Luckily, everybody came back.
Yeah.
There, every single person in that building was hard worker. They care very much, and I think that's why they did it.
Yeah.
But it was great. After that was great. It was we'll continue to grow. And last year when I walked by and Lorenzo was having a game in North Jersey, so we walked
Right.
by. It was Bianca and I. Was like, wow, we used to be here almost every day.
Yeah. Good old memories.
Yeah.
Our paths crossed a little bit in West Nyack as well. Great person you are. Dedication, work ethic, drive. I could tell right away. Certain people you meet, you just know they're for the business, want to be better. They have a drive. They don't want to just not doing it just for the money, not for a paycheck. They really care. And I felt that about you back then. Um, and then it was like Matt's gone. Matt's leaving. I'm like, what? Leaving the company? And I'm like, and then we spoke about it. E-Verify, he lost a lot of money, didn't want to leave. Things took too long. By 2009, they couldn't help you out. What was that like? 9 years, 6 months, all gone, just like that. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was tough, right?
It was bittersweet. It was
Yeah,
it was bitter. It
yeah,
was hard. It
yeah,
was very hard. This goes back to 2001 when we start my immigration paperwork, and Cheesecake signed for me. I don't think
right.
Cheesecake knew. I think was just the local manager signed it up. And fast forward to 2009, I need a proof of signature, and because the company was so big, he couldn't give me that signature because you put his job in line. And I understand. I wouldn't do the same. So so my case ended up being put on hold, and I didn't have the proper paperwork to work, and Cheesecake did the first E-Verify, and I was one of the first ones to be unluckily to be checked, and I had to leave.
Yeah,
So the part that sucks is that I was 4 months away to cash out my stocks.
Yeah.
And when you get terminated, you don't get your stocks. So,
Yeah.
um, but it's a lesson learned. Stuff you can't control. It's
Yeah.
so we'll move on. It was a very tough. Um, and I was talking to Bianca a little bit about it. I thought I'd stay home for like months. And she's like, no, we were home for like a month. And then you went back to work. I was like, oh, it felt like months. That
We were
was looking
talking
for a
back then.
job.
You're like, how long
Yeah.
did I really stay home? Was it 3 months stay home dad? How long did it
Yeah.
was? Yeah.
That's how it felt like.
Yeah.
Not that I didn't want to hang out with my kids. Of course I
Yeah.
did. But it
Right.
felt so long because I was applying to everything and
Yeah.
nothing. And I had to, you know what I mean? I couldn't work on a mom and pop restaurant because up, I'm, I'm living in Westchester County, very far
Right.
from the city, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I end up like going everywhere. And I had a final offer to go work at Applebee's because I was
Applebee's. Yeah.
I was considering, and like I said, nothing against Applebee's, but I was like, I didn't know that. Only thing I wanted was food from scratch, high pace, let's get it done. And I sat down with Bianca. I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel right. I don't feel comfortable. I'll be miserable. And then a week later, Kaplan calls me, Eric Kaplan, and he's like, hey, I get an opportunity for a KM in Manhattan. That was
Manhattan,
Max
Max
Brenner.
Brenner. Yeah. Max
Yep.
Brenner. Yeah.
So, and at this point, you know, at this point, the house market crashing. So we're upside down in our house because we bought in the wrong time, lose my job, which is the main income of the house. Bianca was a stay-at-home mom. Lorenzo was just born.
Right.
So, so it was a very tough. And I was like, I told Bianca, it's like, we made the decision where it's like, look, I'll work and you take care of the boys, you take care of the house.
Right.
And I think it was the best decision we ever made because both our kids are amazing. And I think a lot of it is because the time that Bianca put into it.
Yeah.
And but then I went there and talked to Eric. Eric gave me a job. I was going to be a kitchen manager. Luckily, with 6 months, I was VP of operation, and I was like, "Oof!"
Yeah.
So, but I show up my first day of work,
Yeah.
and I go there. I was like, "Okay, where's my training binder? Where do I start?"
Right.
They look at me, and they're like, "What are you talking about?"
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God.
"Whoa, my first day. I wanna, you know what I mean?"
Yeah.
Until this point, I only knew cheesecake, the structure, training, trainers, and I'm
Yeah.
like, this. I was like, well, I don't know what to do. It was like, just go with Jose over there and
Right.
start writing the train.
Yeah.
This at this point, they had 2 locations. Like they're like, start train. You're gonna write the training schedule, the training module. I'm like, okay. So put my head down and start working and kind of writing what I was doing every day.
Yeah.
So I did that for 2 weeks, figured out how to do it, and this is Max Brenner, right? 50% savory food, 50% sweets.
Yeah.
And then we opened Philadelphia. Then that's when I become a VP of a culinary. I start running the restaurants. Then we open Vegas. Then we open Boston.
Boston. Yep. Yep. Yep.
Yep. So everything's going great. My personal life, we're getting back together. Working with the bank, with the house, and Bianca is pregnant with Luca, and things are falling in line. And so I go to Eric, and I was like, Eric, I need a sponsor to sponsor my paperwork. He's like, yeah, no problem. We start doing the paperwork. I mean, within 2 months, one of the owners of Max Brenner sells Max Brenner, a new company comes in, and they're like, we're not going to sponsor you anymore. Here's your final check.
Man, it's like the same thing.
So
Verify again. You're like thinking,
same,
here we go again. This can't be real life, right? What do I
same
have to
thing
do?
again. Now
Yeah.
I got another 1 month old Luca, and back at it, the same thing that we were about 3 years ago, and we're like, okay, we have done this, we're gonna do it again. But this time's a little different. This time we know that we're not gonna have papers, and Bianca and I are contemplating what to do.
Yeah.
Going back to Brazil wasn't on our top of our list. That was the last option because we've been gone for 15 plus
So many
years.
Yeah, yeah.
Both kids are American.
Right.
They were not going to be able. We didn't know, so we started looking. Maybe move to Canada. We're trying to apply because of my cooking experience. I could use as a career, and we could go there with papers. So we started looking at that, and I guess to a point where like, let's try to go back to Boston.
Yeah.
In between this decision, I was with Kaplan, and Kaplan opened a consulting company, and we start consulting for an Israeli bakery to open a bakery in Manhattan, which is called Bread's Bakery.
Right.
Amazing place on 14th Street, right across from Union Square Cafe. It's like best bread that you can get in New York. There's a lot of great places, right? There's Sullivan Square. There's a lot of places, but there's sweets there. Their sandwiches are awesome too. So if you're ever in New York, you should check it out. They have multiple locations now, but back then, they put a lot of money. The ovens came from France. So, and they have this open concept where you see the bread being made and baked. It's amazing. But I did a year with them, and by the time we were opening, I started from this. We started consulting with them from the beginning. They didn't have anything all the way to open. By the time we were opening, I was working from 6 in the morning. Like I was leaving the house at 6 in the morning, getting the first commuter rail into the city, and not getting home until 10. And it was just brutal. It was tough. And then stuff happening, we had to make a decision, and Bianca and I was like, you know what, let's move back. Let's go back to Boston.
Yeah.
Let's go back to Boston. And then that's where I came across Yard House. Yard House saw my resume, and they're like, oh, you have experience with multi-units. Then took me a couple months to get the job because of the position, right? I was going to be a regional kitchen operations, and I was like, great. I got the job. Then Bianca was going to stay in New York. I had to train in California for 3 months. So Bianca and I was like, all right, we're going to do this. Our goal was halfway through it. We'll find a place to live in Boston. And by the time I was done with my training,
right,
we'll move. And I flew to California without knowing I was going to be able to keep my job.
Yeah. It's a risk. We take risk, right? It's a risk sometimes.
I had no other options. I was like, I'm doing this. Luckily, I got there and everything worked out because I was concerned about my status, right? So it worked out. And 3 months of amazing training down there. And what Cheesecake taught me about numbers, Yard House taught me about people skills and taking care of your people.
How to run a business, right? Yard House,
Yeah. So they were, you know what I mean? It was this Kool-Aid that they were talking about, right? It's like taking care of the staff and all these who care about the staff. I was like, yeah, I heard that before many times before. When I got to California, it was the real deal. When they start training, they're treating all the staff the same way. And I was like, wow, this is different. And I think that's what made me the way I manage today, right? When I was Max Brenner back in the 2010, it was different. It was, you know what I mean? This is what I want you to do. Let's go. We need to get it done because it's pressure, right?
Right.
But,
Yeah.
But as you know, everything's changing, right? You can't talk that way anymore.
You can't talk that way anymore. Different culture, different lifestyle back then versus now, for sure.
Exactly. it doesn't mean it's right, but that's where
Right.
it was, right?
That's where it is
So
right now. Yeah.
yeah. So it was with our house. Then by the time I got there, Darden had bought Yar House. The recruiters didn't know
Right.
that. So I got hired to be a director of a kitchen director. And then when I got there, I was like, yeah, things change. We're going to make you as assistant kitchen manager.
Right.
At my point, I'm like, this is not what we talk about it, but
Right.
I'm grateful to have a job, right? And I'm all the way in California.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mine is just go for it. So came back, we did the Linfield opening, which is northeast of Boston. Then within probably 6-7 months, I got promoted to take my own store down in Dedham, which is the opposite side. And I did that for about almost 3 years. Then from there, I got into a small company that was around here, and they were tough.
Yeah.
I was able to work for them for like 10 months. I got burned out.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I quit. I'm like, I'm done. I quit. Yeah. I went to work construction with my brother. I worked for a month with him in construction. I'm like, I'm going back to the kitchen because this is not what I want to do. This is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
Then I put some fillers for some recruiters, and they're like, hey, there's this restaurant called Stephanie's on Newberry is looking for a sous chef, a Fort sous chef.
PM, right?
Yep. So I was burned out. I was like, sure, that works. I just need an income. Because I want to go there, and I went there, I did my stage, made some dishes, they tried, they liked, and this place Stephanie's is an institution here. It's been open for a very long time. If you're in Boston, everyone wants to go there. It's on Newberry Street, very famous street, used to be very famous street. But then I went there and started working for the first 2 months. The guy had me working in Gare Manger, which is the Salad and Sandwich station, and I was like, dude, you want me to be working here? It's like, yeah, we don't have staff. Don't worry about it. I'm like, as long as you're okay with it, I'm getting paid as a salary, as a chef, as a sous chef, and I'm working salads. Sure.
Yeah.
By 10, I was home at 10 o'clock at night. Started at 3 at 10 o'clock. I'm like, at that point, I was about to open a hot dog cart to go do something because I was so bored.
Right.
And then the high season starts. A kitchen one sous chef drops, another one gets fired for harassment, and now I'm the executive sous chef that I didn't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
By the end of the summer season, I'm the executive chef. I'm like, oh my God. I was like, this is not what I wanted to do, but I'm glad I did because I had a blast. It was a completely different experience, right? This is one place running very loose P&L. Now you're making specials every day. So that's where my culinary kind of came
together
into fruition, because before it was just following recipes, right? Before it was just following recipes. And so for 2.5 years, I was there doing that.
Right.
And then to this point, I still trying to figure out my immigration stuff.
For sure.
Then out of nowhere, I get a call from my brother saying, hey, this chef that's looking for a cook. He's looking for a PM cook.
PM cook,
He's looking for a PM cook. And I was like, all right, great. I went to talk to him, and he's like, look, it's a 40-seat French restaurant. He's like, look, I'm looking for a cook. He asked what I'm doing. I was like, I'm the chef. I'm the executive chef at Stephanie's. And he's like, oh no, this is not for you. I'm like, yeah, but I heard that you would sponsor me. He's like, yeah, I could do that. I was like, all right. So I was like, I'll take the job. So I stage. I staged for 2 days. with the sous chef, and she liked me. She's like, he can cook, and so he offered me the job. I put my notice as a executive chef at Stephanie's and went to work as a PM cook
Yeah,
at the
cook, yeah.
French restaurant
Right.
because it was the right decision.
Yeah.
Then Stephanie was like, "Yeah, we don't want you to go." So I stay as executive chef, but only work the morning shifts, and then I will work the night shifts at the
At
French
nighttime.
restaurant.
Yeah, the French restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that for about 6 months, and then Stephanie got sold to her sister, and they start changing. And the new area director came in and didn't agree with my schedule. I was like, "Listen, here's my 2 weeks. You're
Right.
not happy with me anyways. Here's my 2 weeks,
Right.
and good luck."
I'm out.
And
Yeah.
then the next day he's like, "No, let's stay. We'll take care of you. We'll give you a raise." I was like, "Nope, I'm done." Um, then I started working at then I continued to work at the French restaurant for 3 years. For 2.5 years until my finally got my papers. My papers came in right in the middle of COVID.
Right in the mail in COVID, right? Your green card was like here. Like, what? Really?
Yeah, yeah. I had to. Bianca sent me a picture. I was like, "Hey, this came on the mail,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "It's like no way that's real," because we were
Yeah.
supposed to go for an interview, and then I had to send it to my attorney. I was like, "Hey, is this real?" I was like, he's like, "Yeah." We're like, "Oh my god."
Hallelujah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Jackie is the French chef. He was a he was a great chef. He was a great mentor on the part of small restaurants, right? Because until then, we're just doing massive production. Now there's a 40-seat restaurant. You're using head to tail here so you can make money. And
Right.
I learned a lot from them.
Yeah.
By the time I end, I consider Chef Jackie as a very close friend. He taught me so much, and I am here today because the kindness of his heart, what he did to be able to help us.
It's all about people
And
along the way, right? The Haitian guy, the cowboy, Jackie, Eric Kaplan. It's amazing.
yeah, yeah, and like so after I left Stephanie's, I got a part time at a Mexican restaurant by my house. So work in the morning, then I'll drive to the city, work at my maison, and then there was a restaurant in Somerville that needed a pastry cook, and Rolando, which had met at Max Brenner back in 2000 when I started Max Brenner,
Right.
he was like, "Hey, I need a pastry cook. Can you work 4 nights a week to make 4 days a week to make the pastry?" I
Right.
was like, "I'll stop by and take a look." So for a month, I was doing the Mexican joint in the
Right.
morning. I would go to my maison.
Yeah.
Then from my maison, I would go to the other restaurant and work for another 4 hours to get
Wow.
pies 4 times a week to make the
Right.
desserts. So I got to a point where I was like, it's too much.
Yeah. You
Then
burn yourself out. Yeah. Yeah.
Andy Husbands, who owns a smoke shop, met with Danny Fiore, and he asked, "Hey, I'm looking for a kitchen director. Do you know anyone?" And then Danny put me in contact with Andy Husbands. So I went, did my interview, explained to him exactly what was happening. I was like, "Look, my maison is my priority once I get my papers. I
Right.
can only work until 2:30 because I got to be there at 3." And after a couple months of interview, he was like, "Look, I think we can make it work."
Okay.
So for a couple of years, for about a year and a half, what I did was I would work in the morning for a smoke shop doing a part-time, we'll call it part-time, right? Kitchen director, and
Right.
learning to smoke because I never smoked before
Right.
in this capacity. So learning the systems and all that. And I'll go and work my maison. And then we did that all the way into the end of 2021, when COVID happened and all that, and we're back at to almost normal life.
Right.
Then, like towards the end, I think my green card arrived in October,
Wow.
and then Chef Jackie was like, "Hey, um, in October you can leave," because he knew the position I had in the morning.
Right.
By this time, Jack and I were very close. We were, you know what I mean? He was letting me create specials. Uh, so I was doing a lot at my maison to learn as well, because it was important. It was like, if I'm here, why not,
Right.
right?
Oh, yeah, sure.
And then he came in. He was like, at the end of October you can go. I was like, no, I'm going to finish the year, because I know how hard it is to find a cook. So
Right.
that will give us enough time to find someone. And
Right.
usually in January it's kind of slow. It slows down a lot, right? Especially
Right.
the area that he's on. And he'll give enough time, give him at least 3 months to find someone.
Right.
So that finished that. Then we started. Then when I started full time at the smoke shop, we learned a lot. Like working side by side with Andy has been
Incredible.
amazing, because the different ways is a different way that you see as an ownership, right? The way he sees it. So I'm not seeing it as an area director. I'm not learning to see things as an area director or a worker. I'm learning how to see things as an owner, right?
Right.
The same way I learned with Jackie, and stuff that, you know what I mean. Like on COVID, we were doing to-go boxes. We're selling like 20 boxes of
It was
to-go,
only
but
to goes. Yeah. It was only to goes. Yeah. Back then. Yeah.
but like this is like weeks after, where no one's doing anything. And we had
Right.
coolers of 3 restaurants full of food,
Wow.
and we got some voluntary managers, but I was kind of working. I couldn't, so I didn't have income then, because everything was closed, right? So he
Right.
was like, okay, let's do these boxes so we can try to make some money and kind of help the guys that can't collect. And then I was like, we're not selling anything. We're selling like 20 boxes, 30 boxes. And he was like, let's not worry about how much you're selling. Let's worry about being relevant, staying
Okay.
relevant. So
Relevant.
people,
Yeah.
when this thing comes back up, we can understand. They know that we're there.
Right.
And 3 months later, we're doing much better. And as soon as we could reopen, we reopened, and we had our managers ourselves. We were doing our own barriers so we could put in between tables, and we made it work. And it's
Yeah.
been a great experience.
Yeah. I saw your videos, right? Great videos of you cooking the brisket. What's the art of making a good brisket? What do you need? Amazing flavor. I'm getting hungry just watching your videos.
Yeah, so it's time. It's you know what I mean, it's time. It's a good quality meat
Yeah.
to start with. Our seasoning is just you. By the way, our seasonings, you can go on the smoke shop bbq.com, and you can order.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you can order our sauces. You can order our rubs. Um, we're gonna have some promotions happening now with the holidays coming with packages. So our brisket rub is a salt pepper kind of style. I use that at home all the time. If I'm grilling, that's what I'm using. But
Yeah.
it starts with the seasoning and the meat, and then just it's time, right?
Yeah.
Um,
It's a
when I
slow
went,
cook, right? Process, right?
it's look,
Slow cook. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, you can't rush,
No.
So at the beginning, I was like, yeah, let's rush this,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he
Because that's
and he
what we're
was like,
used to.
no,
Brisket, right? Boom, boom, boom. Every place we worked is like fast paced, get it out, push it out. Now it's like more relaxed, more take your time and slow cook. Takes time to get used to.
yep, yep. Um, so it's the time. It takes time. We cook to temperature, so we don't. Uh, hey, I need a minute, okay? Well, I got a one
Yeah.
second, 1 minute.
Yeah. Sure. Sure. We had a moment of delay here. Matt will be right back. We're talking to Matt. Great videos of him cooking the brisket. Man, those things are mouth-watering, juicy. They're fresh. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll pick up where we left off from. Don't go anywhere. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Yeah, I'm here.